Interestingly, in the Civil War, a lot of the drums used were quite fancy. These were used to an extreme extent during the war, but as I look at this, I don't think this one is Civil War.
It's an old percussion pistol.
That's neat.
This was just given to me by a friend of mine. He retired to Japan and not allowed to take firearms into Japan.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so you never fired it?
No.
The guys debate best pranks. Corey cites Home Alone, Chumley swears by borax, and Rick corrects him, it's soap. Rick crowns War of the Worlds as the ultimate prank, mass panic included. Chum says that's not funny unless you weren't there.
Home Alone, Macaulay Culkin, he just gets over on those guys time after time. That's the funniest prank movie ever.
If you want to talk real prank movies, Borat.
Yeah, that was a pretty funny movie.
Where the hell is borax?
Borax is a soap.
A seller brings a 1920s antique cigar store countertop lighter with period-look batteries. Rick sparks it and jumps. Part lighter, part stun gun. The ask is $1,500, and Rick's intrigued but cautious.
What do we have here?
This is an antique cigar store countertop cigar lighter.
Do you know what year it is?
About 1920, 1930, right in there.
Okay.
What happens is you've got this little wire at the end that jumps a spark.
It's in great shape, cigar burns and all, but Rick lowballs. He offers $900. The seller counters $1,300. They close at $1,000, and even Rick admits it's a little scary.
So this is basically a cigarette lighter slash stun gun.
Back in the early 1900s, big lighters like this could be found anywhere people bought and smoked cigars. But eventually, big lighters like this went out of fashion.
Chum's prank with a fake lottery ticket fizzled, so Corey escalates. He emails errands and paints "wave if I look like a walrus" on Chum's truck. Rick cackles, diabolical.
You gotta check this out, dude. Chum and I have a score to settle. I tried to prank him with a fake lottery ticket, and it backfired.
Think your little fake lottery ticket fooled me? Come on, Big Hoss.
So I'm getting him back, and I thought I'd show my dad how I was doing it.
A check signed by Aaron Burr walks in, and Rick's history engine revs. Burr's duel with Hamilton gets the quick lecture. To Chum's confusion, the seller wants $2,010, paid with a Hamilton.
Very good, thank you. I have a check from Aaron Burr I'd like to show you.
Okay, that is definitely cool. So, Aaron Burr used to be Vice President of the United States. Alexander Hamilton, the guy in the $10 bill.
Yeah.
This is the guy that killed him.
Rick wants verification because the signature is lined through. He calls Stewart, the document guru. The seller's confident, hoping for a smooth deal.
There's 3 pounds right here. What's that dollar value?
3 pounds back then was literally 3 pounds of silver. The equivalent of $4,000.
This is a big check.
Your average worker maybe made 15, 20 pounds a year.
Stewart explains the Burr-Hamilton feud and why they dueled in New Jersey. He studies Burr's slanted signature and flat-topped R's, declaring it genuine. Then he crushes the mood. Retail around $750.
This the item you called me about? This is the item. This is an Aaron Burr canceled check. Very cool.
I own Stewart Let's Historic Documents, a firm that buys, sells, authenticates, and appraises historic documents. Rick trusts no certificates of authenticity.
Rick groans that killing Hamilton should boost value. Stewart says reputation rules. Washington would crush, but Burr barely nudges 4 digits. The seller jokes about dueling for it. Rick claims he'd shoot first.
Meaning that this item was signed by Aaron Burr himself.
Awesome. All right, now the big question is, how much is it worth?
I think something like this has a retail value of about $750.
I was hoping for more than that. A shame to hear.
Well, Aaron Burr sort of has a...
They haggle from $750 down to $610 in nickel and dime steps. Rick sticks the landing at $610, and the seller relents. He'll find another historic check. Rick calls it rewriting history.
I wouldn't go less than the $750 there.
Thinking like $500 is a really fair price.
Well, is that just for the oil painting on the frame, or is that for the check?
Well, that's not an oil painting.
It's a reproduction of an oil painting, but the framing's already been done, and that's an expensive procedure.
Corey's prank spree continues with wild errands and the truck graffiti. Rick watches, amused but wary. Hours later, Chum discovers it and scrubs furiously.
Don't screw around. I need you back here as soon as you can.
You know I love getting out of the shop.
I know, dude, but hurry up. I painted something on the back of Chum's truck that will definitely get him a lot of attention. Now I'm sending him out on some errands, and people are going to be waving and honking at him all day. It's going to be awesome.
Popcorn chaos erupts as Corey booby traps the lot. The old man storms out and threatens bodily harm if it's not cleaned. Corey folds. years. Lesson learned for now.
Pouring off my lot.
I'll get it cleaned up, Grandpa.
You better. I'm gonna kick your damn ass.
A girl just came in and said she has an old car she wants to sell. But Corey and I told her to meet us around back. I love old cars, and I also love an excuse to get off the sales floor.
A young woman offers her shiny 1960 Chevy Corvair at $10,000. The horn is hilariously off, which she loves. Rick and Corey brace for the negotiation ride.
The least I'll take is about $6,000.
This is a 1960? It was the first model year. In 1960, if you were like an 18, 19-year-old kid having this car, you were cool. It was a modern, slick-looking car.
Rick praises the rear-engine, air-cooled design, while Corey cites Nader's unsafe at any speed. The seller lists upgrades but admits it slips out of gear. Rick deadpans, that's not a selling point.
Volkswagen and Corvairs were the only ones with the engine in the back. The Corvair was GM's attempt at a revolutionary new car. They were trying to compete with other cars that were gaining popularity, like the Volkswagen.
Test drive time reveals sloppy steering and exhaust smell. Corey calls it a land boat and a death trap. Rick still sees profit at the right number.
Really cool 1960s Corvair, but I wanted to make sure this thing was in good driving condition before I made a deal. So I decided to drag Corey out and take a test drive with me.
Different when it came out.
And they had to redesign everything to make this car.
They report the issues and say her price is too high. Corey tops at $3,000 and she declines. No deal, but at least they know how it drives.
It is cool though. I mean, I really do dig it.
What do you want to do with it?
I want to sell it. I'm asking 10 grand.
10 grand.
But by saying you're asking 10 grand means you'll already take less, right?
Not exactly.
Rick shrugs off the miss while Chum and the old man exchange icy prank looks. Grandpa's done with jokes and threatens next century payback. Laughter rolls, and one very mad elder.
For him.
It's over, Corey.
At least that worked. He gave it a good effort.
All right, whatever. I'll let Chumley have this round, but I'm still his boss, so I get to make him clean the toilets anytime I want.
It don't even work. Corey, you're a moron.
Rick cracks. Popcorn's on me, earning a "you moron" glare from the old man. He tells the boys to watch and learn. Fade out on Vegas chaos, history, humor, and relentless pranks.
I couldn't take that.
We're way too far apart. Thanks for coming by, though.
Thank you.
Want to let her out, Corey?
Yeah.
Corvairs can be great cars, or they can be like this one. I wanted to fall in love with this thing, but a bad transmission and sloppy steering, I just couldn't make the romance work.
A woman brings in a Cromwellian lobster tail helmet, and Rick nerds out on the 1642 to 1651 timeline. He notes the tail doesn't articulate like original should. She wants $3,500, would take $2,000, but Rick's red flags are waving. Time to call in a pro. Drama engaged.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
What do we have here?
Well, it is a Cromwellian lobster tail helmet.
This style of helmet was popular in England during the English Civil War. Happened in the
1642.
1642. You're
to
good.
51.
Good. Yeah. Your history. Yeah.
Alex arrives and breaks down Roundheads versus Cavaliers and the lobster tail design. He explains authentic pieces usually have articulated plates and serious battle intent. It's a crash course in survival gear with historical bite. Scrutiny level, maximum.
A woman came in the shop with what she says is a 17th century Cromwellian lobster tail helmet. It's really cool looking, but I'm not exactly an expert on lobster tail helmets. So I'm calling in my friend Alex, who will know all about this.
He adds that cheek pieces hung on leather, which should leave traces even when gone. The helmet's too light, which wouldn't stop a broadsword. Translation: decorative, not defensive. You can feel the verdict loading.
Together, so it had a little bit of articulation. They did make them like this for lower status soldiers. It was preferred by officers, but this shouldn't be a reason to think that this isn't correct.
All right.
There's a lot of history around this helmet. This was a brutal time to be at war.
Call made. Victorian copy worth a few hundred. Rick tosses $50. The seller declines and pivots to wine night decor. Expectations deflated with grace. No deal, no drama left.
So they would have been worn on either side and hung freely. Now it's very typical that they're missing because they're connected by leather typically. You can see some of that leather still here. I don't see too much 350-year-old leather. The other thing is, it's really light.
Curveball time, a late 1800s. Sinclair Scott apple peeler arrives. It looks equal parts gadget and tetanus exam. The seller says it's Grandma Betty's, a family heirloom for about a century. Corey calls it more commercial than home use, industrial farmhouse charm.
What do we got got here?
I have in the 1800s Sinclair Scott apple peeler.
Be careful, you might need a tetanus shot after you touch that thing.
It's in pretty good condition. It just needs to be polished up a little bit.
Pretty self-explanatory. It's an apple peeler. Can I take a look at it?
Yeah.
Corey clamps it down and mimics peeling an invisible apple. Ask is $90. He comes back at $50 since it's decor now. A quick spar lands at $60 and Chum writes it up. Somewhere, Grandma Betty nods in approval.
What do you want to do with it?
I like to sell it.
Any idea of how much you're looking to get, or?
I was thinking like 90.
$90? You know, it's cool, it's neat, it doesn't really have a practical use. All it is a decoration at this point. That being said, I could probably give you around 50 bucks for it.
Now, horsepower. Rick visits Las Vegas Motor Speedway to see a 2014 Hertz Penske Mustang GT. Only 150 made, and the first 10 are 6-speed manuals. Seller wants $85,000, bottom line $60,000. Rick smells either a score or a money pit.
How's it going?
Good, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. So this is it, huh?
This is it, that's right. The 2014 Hertz Penske GT.
This is nice. I mean, and it's a Mustang too. It's an iconic car. I mean, this was Lee Iacocca's baby.
We get the rent-a-racer lore from the 60s. People rented Shelbys and swapped parts. This one came via Hertz, an executive-held unit that slipped out. Collectible vibes are strong if the price aligns.
That's a big wow factor right there. In the 1960s, you could go to Hertz and they had this whole thing about renting a race car. Right. So they got a bunch of Shelby GT350s and 500s. And what happened was guys who got a new Mustang that just had the V6.
Rick brings in Joey Logano to inspect. Joey loves that it's among the first 10 manuals and wasn't rental abused, plus he spots Penske's signature. That's bragging rights, if not a massive bump. He's itching to drive.
The guy has a really cool special edition Mustang that he's looking to sell. I have a few friends that are in NASCAR, and one of them is Joey Logano. He just happens to be in town right now, so I brought him down here to check it out.
What we got here?
It's a 2014 Hertz Penske GT.
Wait, I'm a little bit familiar with these cars.
Pre-drive jitters kick in as Rick plays brave. Joey jokes they'll cruise at 65 to 70, which nobody believes. Helmets metaphorically on. This is about to get real. Drama overload.
I'm always up for that.
I just want to make sure there's no problems at high speed.
No better way of checking it out than on a racetrack, right? Is you open it up.
So can we take it for a spin? Just around the track?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Don't worry, we'll putt it around.
Joey floors it to 150 miles per hour, skimming the wall and carving laps. Rick white knuckles while Joey grins, and the car stays planted. "You don't have to get that close to the wall, dude," becomes the quote of the run. Proof of performance delivered.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Let's hit it.
Holy.
Handle's great. We're going around Vegas here, going to 150 down the straightaways. Think he's had this thing this fast before?
I doubt it. We're really doing 150?
I think the good thing about this car is that it was never rented out.
Post-run, Joey calls it rare and desirable. First 10, proper 6-speed, never rented, and values it near $75,000. The seller wants that. Rick fires with $60,000. Counters fly, $67,000, $62,000, and it settles at $60,000. Negotiation masterclass achieved.
I think it's hard to say because it's rare, right? There's not many of these cars for sale, but I think the fact that this is one of the first 10 cars that were built and wasn't rented, it has that 6-speed manual, I think that's got to add some kind of value.
Back at the shop, a Walther pellet gun appears. The model from the From Russia with Love promo. Not the screen-used prop, but the exact type. The seller wants $500, and Chumley listens with cautious interest. Cool story, niche lane.
I've got something I think you'll be interested in.
From Russia with Love, huh?
Well, that gun that Sean Connery held in the promotional shots.
Oh, wow. Mind if I check it out?
Sure.
Pretty cool, man. What do you think?
Haggling heats up as the seller cites prop prices. Corey counters that this isn't the Connery-used gun, so demand is limited. Corey taps out at $200. The seller won't drop below $250. They part ways without a handshake.
Yeah, this is a pretty interesting story, actually. Sean Connery went to the promotional shoots for From Russia with Love, and they didn't have the gun he was supposed to shoot with. So by chance, I guess the photographer happened to have this Walther in his car. So he went and got it, and thus became the famous.
A customer strides in with a 1969 pink rear loader Beach Bomb Hot Wheel, mint with surfboards. Rick calls it the Holy Grail as the seller asks $150,000. Rick blinks and phones a friend.
What do you got there?
Well, prepare to be amazed. The rarest Hot Wheel in the world.
Is that what I think it is?
The pink 1969 rear load Beach Bomb.
That's the holy grail of Hot Wheels, isn't it?
It sure is.
Rick reminisces about childhood Hot Wheels and explains this prototype never hit stores. The seller casually mentions owning about 6,000 cars. Collector showdown energy fills the room.
It's in mint condition. These are the original surfboards that go with it.
Yeah, that was a ragtop Volkswagen, Volkswagen Transporter.
Rick summons Johnny from Toy Shack, telling him to bring gloves. The seller boasts it's one of a kind. If legit, Rick sees massive upside, or a very pricey toy.
All right, do you know anything about it?
They actually stopped making this variety and made a different variety of the Volkswagen bus.
Okay.
Hence, this was never for sale to the public. That's why it's so valuable.
Okay.
Meanwhile, a woman brings 2 Weltron UFO stereos from her divorce party. Corey loves the space-age look. Chum shrugs at analog. Vintage design meets digital apathy.
Weltron UFO stereos. And these are actually 2 different models. This is the first model that came out that has the 8-track, and that came out the same year, a little bit later with a cassette. You guys know what 8-tracks are, right?
I'm all about digital downloads.
She wants $3,000 for both, but the sound is fuzzy and Corey calls them novelty. He offers $500 as she pleads for $600. They land at $550. Corey's job done.
Hoping to get 3,000.
They're pretty cool. What can you tell me about it?
1969, United States first put a man on the moon. 1970, Beltron and JVC.
Johnny arrives and confirms the pink rear loader beach bomb prototype, explaining Hot Wheels industry disruption. Only 2 pink ones are known. Rick's eyes widen. This is the real deal.
A guy came in with an extremely rare Hot Wheels car. I know it's worth a lot of money, but I don't know if it's worth over $100,000. I mean, it's a toy car, so I called in Johnny, and I'm getting his opinion.
Hey, what's up, Rick?
Oh, pretty good. Well, you supposedly know this guy?
Under magnification, Johnny verifies casting, lettering, and base differences. It checks every prototype box. He estimates value at about $100,000.
This is the rarest and most sought-after Hot Wheel in existence.
All right, so this is legit.
This has changed the industry of collecting Hot Wheels. Nobody thought that anybody could make an impact on Matt.
Negotiations erupt. Seller at $150,000, Rick at $60,000, and the gap won't close. Rick tops at $70,000. The seller won't drop below $140,000. No deal, but a legend rolled by.
So what are you looking for?
This is a different base than the early production ones. So this is definitely the prototype. And there's certain things in the lettering, the bumpers, even like flaws in the casting that are only available to the prototypes in the early productions.
Chum claims he's memoir worthy as Rick reads Sammy Davis Jr. instead. Rick notes memoirs follow accomplishments. Chum delivers street war nonsense. Rick questions reality.
Very much.
It was cool to see it. Okay.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too. Unfortunately, this is truly my pink baby. I appreciate his offer of $70,000, but in this case, I think this car is worth probably at least twice that much.
A seller presents a Rembrandt etching. Rembrandt's mother with her hand on her chest, hoping for $10,000. Rick explains etching and states, where earlier means money. He calls Brett to assess.
Go on.
Fine. I have here an etching of one of the most famous moms in the world. This is an etching by Rembrandt.
Where did you get this?
I have some awesome friends who decided I was...
If early state, it could be 6 figures, Rick says, but it might be much later. The seller beams while Brett is en route. Chum announces Rick will be the villain in his blank page epic.
And they would press the paper into it, so the spongy part would go into those valleys and suck the ink off. And you'd pull it off and you'd have that's your etching. The one problem was, though, copper is really, really soft.
Brett inspects and recognizes it as the Millennium Edition pulled from the original plate centuries later. Beautiful, but not Rembrandt's hand-printed. The seller's hopes nosedive.
A lady came in with an etching by Rembrandt, could possibly be his mother. I need to know what state and what the value is of this etching. And if anybody will know, it will be Brett. Oh, Rembrandt.
Fantastic. You don't get much better than Rembrandt.
I agree with you 1,000%.
Brett values it around $1,500 to $2,000. Authentic plate, but modern impression. Rick offers $800. She passes and keeps it for the wall. A costly but classy art lesson.
Now, one of the things that's interesting about this particular print, I don't know, did you notice the signature?
Yes, it's dark.
Exactly. The inks are very heavy on this particular print. Now, I'm looking at the plate marks. The plate marks are very clear, so it's definitely an authentic etching.
Chum unveils the Book of Chum with the old man cackling at the cover. Rick flips through blank pages. Chum quips about judging a book by its cover. Rick melts down.
Is not going to make it work.
Book's done.
Book's done.
So overnight you finished a book.
Yep.
Let me see the cover.
You don't want to see it.
Good picture, huh?
You look like that mountain guy.
Chum pitches 50 Shades of Chum, and Rick groans while the old man calls it a shame. Fade on Chum grinning like he just won a Pulitzer. Peak nonsense, minimal sales.
Let me see the book. There's nothing in it.
You know what they say, Rick? You judge a book by its cover. And that's one hell of a cover.
They don't judge books by their cover.
There's gonna be some good content in there too.
And what's the name of this book?
A seller presents a Civil War snare drum with a $2,000 ask. Rick admires the star motif and trim but suspects parade, not battle. The story of kids drumming troops into combat gives chills. He calls an expert to be sure.
Hey, what can I help you with?
I've got a Civil War drum.
Okay.
I've been in the family since I was a kid.
How did you need a band in the Civil War?
$2,000 for it.
So where did you get this thing?
A good family friend of ours who collected Civil War.
Rick notes tin side panels, inlaid wood, and wear consistent with play. He explains why younger boys carried drums while adults carried rifles. It's a great history lesson, but the fancy look nags him. Military or just pageantry?
During the Civil War, believe it or not, they usually just had kids carry the drums. They would actually play these things going into battle. And the reason they'd have a kid playing it is because you could have an older guy use a rifle with a bayonet a lot better.
Expert Mark shows up and explains how drum cadences directed troops. He studies construction details, press-worked wood, proportions, and build. The reveal is closing in, and the seller braces. Stakes meet scrutiny.
What do we have?
Apparently we have a really old drum, and I figured if anybody would know anything about it, would be another old drum.
Guys normally call me down when they have an artifact that they want a little bit more information about.
Mark rules it a late 19th century parade drum, not Civil War issue. Beautiful, yes. Battlefield provenance, no. The seller sags as Rick nods, unsurprised. Still saleable, just not at wartime prices.
Interestingly, in the Civil War, a lot of the drums used were quite fancy. They would normally have an eagle on them or a flag on them. They would be painted. These were used to an extreme extent during the war.
Negotiations begin with the seller clinging to $2,000. Rick counters at $400 and inches to $450 as the seller tries $800. They finally settle at $500. Rick smiles. There's margin there.
How about $2,000?
You don't have $2,000 here. I will give you like $400 though.
Four? That's a real drum. It was, you know, it's the real
I know
deal.
It's a real drum, but if it was Civil War, it's a military collectible.
Out on a field call, Corey and the old man inspect a 1922 photographer's printing table. The hand-blown bulb earns style points. Corey is impressed but cautious. It's furniture, not a camera. Price chat looms.
This is the 1922 photographer's printing table. All the parts are here, and I think it's got some pretty cool components, especially this hand-blown glass light bulb.
That's probably got like one of the smallest filaments I've ever seen in a light bulb.
Corey explains the process. Glass sandwich, exposure, developer, done. The old man says shops use these into the 50s. It's authentic and nostalgic, but value is the question. Niche is niche.
You gotta understand it was a lot different back then. You know, people had cameras at home, but they were really poor quality. If you wanted anything nice, you went to a photography shop and they would have a piece of equipment like this.
I can remember back in the 50s, they were still using these monsters.
The seller asks $5,000 to $10,000, calling it museum grade. Rick counters $300 to $400, noting collectors chase cameras, not darkroom furniture. The seller declares $2,000 as his floor. Rick doesn't blink.
Okay, with the little red light and everything on. There'd be two plates of glass. They'd put a negative in between them. They'd take some photographic stock, just line it up, put it in there, flick it with a switch. The light would come on underneath for a set amount of time. Zzz, it's a developer.
No deal. The seller walks despite admitting he paid $60. The old man quips museums prefer donations. Expectations meet reality.
No, I think the lowest I can probably go down to is $2,000. I looked and researched, and I saw that the only one identical to it found in a museum. It's not even in this country, it's in a museum in Canada.
Next, a framed set of 1946 Royal Riders motorcycle memorabilia arrives. Rick and Corey perk up with a claimed link to club founder Ed Kretz Sr., winner of the first Daytona 200. Provenance feels promising, but they want confirmation.
Got a 1946 Royal Riders motorcycle memorabilia.
Yeah, this is the way they used to ride. The helmet was to keep you warm, it wasn't to protect your head.
I've been in motorcycle accidents and...
Corey praises the ready-to-hang display and condition. Rick talks post-war biker culture and surplus bikes. Still, pricing needs a real opinion, so they call Danny.
Plus, you got to remember, these guys came home from World War II a little high-strung. I mean, they were used to getting shot at, and it's kind of hard to spend 4 years doing that, then come home and sit in a rocking chair.
During World War II, GIs fixed and maintained everything from motorcycles to airplanes.
Danny confirms it's legit old club gear, not Kretz's personal set, which would have exploded value. Condition and era are strong though. He estimates $1,200 to $1,500. Solid, not legendary.
Earlier, a guy brought in some memorabilia from an old motorcycle club, the Royal Ride. I don't know a lot about this stuff, so I called in somebody who does.
Andy, my man, how you doing, buddy?
What's up, gents? How you doing, Corey? What do we got going on here, man?
They haggle from $1,500 to $1,000, then $1,300, $1,250, $1,150. It lands at $1,200 and everyone's content. A tidy slice of biker history joins the shop.
My big question is, what's it worth?
Is this actual Ed Kretz riding attire, or?
I don't think it was his attire.
If it was Ed Kretz's himself, it would definitely be more valuable. Well, it looks in really nice shape. I would say something like this.
A curveball coin surfaces, a 1652 sixpence found in a Massachusetts wall. The seller wants $3,000. Rick spots the slab note, fine details, damaged, which is a value killer. Colonial is cool, if priced right.
What do we got here?
It's a 1652 sixpence.
Okay.
Rick, it looks like it's run over by a truck.
What do you expect? It's 359 years old.
So am I.
Rick offers $500 on what he pegs as a $600 coin. The seller insists on thousands, and Rick holds firm. No deal, just frosty air as he exits. Market reality stays undefeated.
On how bad they're worn out. You'll notice they didn't put any number there.
Yeah.
It says fine detailed damage. When a coin is damaged, it's not graded.
When it comes to grading coins, damaged is like getting an F.